Darius. Mr. Shaalukeni, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here.
All right. So how would you just describe the town's development status, considering it's a large townlands? Of course, I understand it's home to, being home to the region's, largest library.
Yeah, we are seeing a very significant, massive, in terms of development program or progress, to say. But nevertheless, Helao Nafidi being one of the town in this country where we have 5 standing township that speak to one of them, Onuno, Ohangwena, Omafo, Engela, and Oshikango, where most of our business activity are taking place. It looks like it's hard to drive development, but so far we are doing very great in terms of development progress.
I mean, you highlighted that the town, of course, is situated at the Angolan border, due to the busy border at the Oshikango, and you highlighted where most business is taking place. And how do you what is the role the strategic location play in terms of the quest for development for Helao Nafidi in particular?
No, it's a bigger role because it acts as a catalyst in terms of grassroots economy.
Absolutely.
And you see, when the national economy fall and global Oshikango, that position being a border town, we are given a comparative advantage to say, because the inflow of people in and out, given the population of Southern Angola, normally help us to survive in terms of a grassroots activity. But at a time also, it's a good study case as young leaders and planners who are working there in the town, because you are challenged in terms of spatial planning. Every time, how to set up and position physical infrastructure, road and so on. I think it's a challenge in a very good journey for us as a town and the young leader and the planner, as people working toward developing that town.
And economic growth. And of course, we've seen progress. And last year, 24-hour operation, was brought about in terms of the Oshikango and Santa Clara border post, for trade and just economic activities between the two. How has that benefited your town so far?
The benefit is massive. What I would tell you, as you rightly alluded to, this year, this month, marks exactly 1 year when we opened the 24-hour operation of the Oshikango border post in collaboration with the Trans-Kunene corridor. It's one of the significant, massive change that we have seen, and it's helping us economically. What I would want to emphasize here is for the young entrepreneurs to capitalize into this given advantage, because it looks like some people are not aware of it and what advantage they can capitalize in. But I will tell you, young entrepreneurs have more to do in terms of venturing into entrepreneurship. Look, these people, truck drivers are coming in. Now they don't have to wait for longer, but they would want, even at a point they are tired, they need to relax. If a young entrepreneur comes in and says, I want to open up a massage therapy outlet, then you capitalize in that, because this driver want to relax. If they are given massage therapy and before they proceed to Angola, it's a long distance, they travel from Port of Warisbe to Oshikango, proceeding to DRC or within Angola itself. I think there is a lot that young people need to capitalize in.
I mean, just the town council, of course, is responsible for local governance and overseeing just municipal services, infrastructure development. And you highlighted that the developments clearly are evident and they are massive, rather. Just talk to us about some of the town's major achievements in terms of those massive developments.
Yeah, to highlight a few, our mandate and our core priority was to look at the pride of the young people, the youth. You could rightly remember we have started long back to develop a soccer field in Helao Nafidi Mayor at the Expo Center. Now we are at the stage of constructing a proper pavilion with a tunnel of a dressing room, as well as an ablution facility for the players, so that if that is completed within this year, and we will see Helao Nafidi and Ohangwena region in particular hosting a Premier League match, and that's one of the what we want to achieve in terms of economy. It will help also the local economy to benefit, and therefore after also promoting the well-being of the young people. You know, young people are being bored because they have nothing to be involved in, more especially during weekend.
Absolutely, and that brings me to my next question. I mean, there is no developmental processes without challenges. What are some of those main challenges that the council has, you know, experienced, and how are you planning on addressing them? Or how are you currently also addressing those challenges?
Yes, the challenges are many, but we are navigating through. But what is not to mention here is to say towns like Helao Nafidi are towns which are upcoming, and we have not inherited any infrastructure from the colonial eras. We are just starting from the ground. And you see infrastructure like hospitals, roads, were built around about 94. Now, this facility, the population have overgrown the facility. Look at the Ngela Hospital, where it's situated in Helao Nafidi. Now, the wards are full. The hospital is full. There is no space. What it will tell you is that the population has overgrown the facility.
Absolutely.
When you come to Helao Nafidi, Oshikango itself, the business area where we are hosting as a CBD, the road, it can take you during Christmas, December, it will take you 4 to 3 hours to reach the center of business. So that means the population have grown, is no longer at par with the infrastructure in terms of the road. That means we need to expand the road. But the challenge are funding, the issue of funding. Young people are demanding land. But the issue of money, compensations, the ministry gave you 4 million to seize, and in a 4 million you can only compensate an area of land close to 4 hectares. What do you do with that? So the challenge is basically funding, and also the infrastructure which are overgrown by the populations, and the ever-growing population of the young people, and their demand, therefore, because the demand, the dynamic have changed. Youth want recreation, they want serviced land, but in terms of also compensation, when you get fund for compensation, then you are faced again with the issue of the fund of servicing this land, because giving a virgin land to a young person, a graduate, what will I do with it? The person wants a service land so that I can struggle maybe to get fund, or a bond to build my house. And young people want to live luxury, just like any other. Those are the major challenges that you are faced with. But we are, day by day, navigating through.
Mayor, just before I let you go, of course, small town upcoming, you're starting from scratch. Where do you foresee Helao Nafidi in the near future in terms of infrastructure development, economic growth, trade, employment, and so forth?
We are hoping for good, and we remain dedicated to make sure that Helao Nafidi in the map of country becomes one of the vibrant towns in Helao Nafidi. I would want to say is we just need to instill hope among our young people. Remember, one thing that we have done there in Helao Nafidi is that to bring the NATE service to them. But for now, we are they are only writing learner's license. Now we are engaging the road authority to say they must put up a full-fledged NATE services, so that when these learners obtain a learner license, they are able to also obtain the driving license instantly there in the town. You remember these young people are struggling with unemployment. Look, even if you have a diploma, the employer ask again, you must have a driving license. So those are the issues that we are looking at. So, but we are hopeful to say the situation will change. We need to be patient a bit, and they need to give us time. In terms of employment, we are struggling. Development, we will hopefully bring everything to order. So we are hopeful.
I see so much emphasis being placed on young people, which is quite comprehensible.